this is Teresa and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be me discussing my thoughts and what went wrong in my eyes. Most of the things. I didn't catch all of the things that went wrong in Fate the Winx Saga Season 2. Lots of things to talk about. Like, let's just do it on my phone. We'll just start from the top and scroll. So, let's just kind of get in the video, because I have already been filming for 40 minutes and I don't want to add another 40 minutes. I'll just give you guys a very brief synopsis on what the second season is. There is a very clear time jump from the first one. Bloom keeps talking about how everything has to go back to normal while everyone's kind of in a zone and like a routine of things. So very clearly I want to say, like, it's definitely the newer term of the like Althea, however they pronounce it. And it's at least been like a month or two or three maybe even into the term, because you can tell that things are currently happening. Now this does follow quite a couple of timelines, and not timelines, but a couple of plot lines that you'll see. We'll see back with Bloom and the cast trying to figure out what happened to Flora, I believe, or Ferran. What happened there, the blood witches that are currently going on, trying to figure out what exactly is kind of creeping, crawling around in the woods trying to steal fairies' powers. Moving on to the things that I did like about this season, I had more things that I liked about this season than I did the last one. The first one being Flora. Now, Flora, in her counterpart in the animated show, is one of the main characters that we see from beginning, like the very beginning of the books of this series to the very end. Or if it's still ongoing, to now. She's like the kinder fairy. She's very pink and green themes, very much my aesthetic. She's very soft and kind-hearted, almost to the point of being a pushover. But she's very well loved, like in the show and in the fandom itself. So like everyone was rightfully pissed off when they said, we will be replacing this very clearly brown woman with Tara, who is white. Now, she is actually Tara's cousin that we see later, and I adored this girl. Like, from her very modern boho outfits that I want to emulate, to her hair, to her personality. They give Flora a lot more spunk in this book, gave her a lot more like of a backbone, whereas like she might have like just like let people walk over her for a little bit. She had more of like a spine, definitely did not let people walk all over her. She like did things just because she was like, I know this is gonna work. She had like an immense amount of confidence that was just absolutely perfect, and I loved every single scene that I had of Flora. And I cannot wait to see where her storyline goes in the third season, should we get a third one, because she was just absolute perfection, the shining light in this series, and I needed more of her from this season, because like if we got more Flora content from the beginning, I probably would have enjoyed this first season a lot more. I thought that the plot this time around was a lot like more grounded and a lot easier to follow. We get to see like the different threads of the plot, and Bloom struggling with certain things, Musa struggling with things, Tara struggling, Stella, Aisha, even Flora to an extent, and just like I feel like it wrapped around so much nicely, and the plot and their individual storylines flowed together and had their own like little like ebbs and flows as the story continued, and I really just enjoyed it that it all flowed and it wrapped up and like it made sense with the overall big storyline, because it felt like last time they were also disjointed like storylines, and there was like very clearly like 3 or 4 main plot lines within the characters, but then it never tied in overall with the plot. And I feel like this time around, whatever the writers did, their individual storylines meshed really well with the main plot of the show, and I feel like it flows so much nicer than the last time. And I was like actually genuinely invested in learning about what happened to Aisha, what happened to Bloom, what happened to Stella, what's happening with Musa, Tara, Flora, and then on top of that just really invested in like the mystery and intrigue that was flowing in between these individual plot lines with the main plot of the show and the main concerns, which was very nice. I think last time I was just like, what the fuck is this? Now I was like, oh, what the fuck's going on? Got some character growth. The other shining stars of the season was definitely Musa and Riven. I love seeing their individual struggles and kind of like very much digging deeper into like their angsty moments. I love the fact that they are sticking to the very slow burn romance that they are going with that happened in the animated show. You can see them just really like, not even enemies to lovers, I say just very like dislike to lovers, and it's very like nice and warm-hearted and like fun to watch, because you see like them butt heads in the first season, not really get along. In the second one, they're just like starting to get like comfortable with each other. they're still butting heads to the point where you're like, oh my god, why? But they're starting to challenge each other and really just push each other, while also there's like an undercurrent of like caring for one another that's there. And I'm so excited to see how that pans out in the 3rd season, because like Riven and Musa were such like a top tier couple in the first 3 seasons, and I just absolutely adored their like trajectory in that path, and I can't wait to see what happens in the future seasons, if should we get some, because they're just going to be like the top tier fan favorite couple of this show, because they're just that good. They're so, their romance is going to be so well written as long as the writers don't fuck shit up, and I'm going to be so excited. Moving on to the things that I did not like. The first one is Tara. Like, I have such high hopes for Tara. Like, Tara is what Flora was in the book, in the animated show, I mean. She was a lot shyer, she was a lot more to herself, definitely did not have a backbone, kind of a bit of a pushover, but they just love leaning into Tara's insecurities. The first season was her insecure because she was a bigger girl. Her plotline revolved around her being a bigger girl. It was annoying, and I was like, I need bigger girls, I need fat girls to just exist and have other plot lines that don't involve the fact that they are big. Then in the 2nd season, she is not so much focused on the fact that she's a fat girl, but then she says that all of her insecurities of this season stem from the fact that she's queer. And while I like the fact that they gave her that queer storyline, and we did introduce that a bit, and we get to see her grow, I just did not like the fact that 1, this queer storyline came out of nowhere, and 2, they just gave her another insecurity. Like, she was insecure and jealous of Flora because Flora is out there. She's comfortable in her sexuality. She's comfortable in her limits. And like, just tell me you guys don't know how to write a story for a fat girl and call it a day. And to boot, what in the fuck are the outfits that they're putting her in? Like, what is it? Like, everyone for that like masquerade ball scene thing got these amazing, beautiful outfits. Like, Bloom was stunning. And Tara walks up to this banquet in jeans, a graphic t-shirt, and a blazer. Like, just the writers and the stylists just need to admit to their fat phobia and just stop. Because it's just like, I want to see her become more than this, more than her insecurities. I want her, like, she's very clearly an intelligent, capable girl who like is like could easily be the heart of the group. But they're giving her so many insecurities and so many times to butt heads with all of the individual girls, and for what reason? Because she's fat? Because she's queer? Like, I don't understand what the need is to include Tara's storylines in this manner, and it just screams of so much like fat phobia to me, because there's no reason why they couldn't dress up Tara in more appropriate clothing. She looks like she should be a granny, and she dresses like a 12-year-old boy. Like, in what world would Stella ever look at her mate, that like her bunkmate, that she's getting closer to and that she enjoys spending time with, and go, yes, this is an appropriate outfit for you to leave this room in? Okay, Skye and Bloom is also another thing that I didn't like. Like, don't get me wrong, their relationship is cute, and I love Skye and Bloom in the first 3 seasons of the Winx Club. They're top tier couple to me. Like, I have always wanted my own Skye growing up. But like, in this one, I was just like, I didn't understand. Like, Skye not wanting to talk about his like family problems and his like insecurities or whatever, fine, you deal with it, you do you, boo-boo. But my biggest issue with this in this season was that Skye was so emo and refused to talk about his problems, refused to even tell Bloom what was an inkling of his issues. And then as she's off to like potentially get murdered, he's like, there's a reason I didn't tell you about my problems and express to you my feelings and like, you know, confide in you like a proper boyfriend. It's because the solution to all of my problems is you, Bloom. And she looked touched. She genuinely just like looked touched, and I sat there and like paused it and was like, I sat there and was like, I don't know if it's just because I'm like potentially neurodivergent and to get that checked out or what, but if a man told me that the only reason why he confided in me was because I was the solution to all of his problems, I would break up with him. Like, I would not feel touched. I would feel slightly insulted. I was like, so the reason you can't confide in me is because I'm the solution to your problems. But how do I know what your problems are if you won't confide in me? Like, how do I... The romantic connection between these two heterosexuals was missed, and I was just like, I need more gay people to write, because that was not the romantic gesture that I think they were going for. at all. I sat there and was like kind of disgusted. It was just not a fun time for me. And also like at the very end of the season, Bloom goes off to close the portal to the darkness, which I have issues with and I'll bring up in like 2 seconds. And Skye doesn't follow her into this portal abyss and lets her go off on her own. Skye, who almost died, who Bloom sacrificed almost all of her powers for because she wanted to save Skye. Homegirl almost let the world burn to save Skye. Legit lost her shit and went like crazy because she thought he was dead. And he didn't even follow her into the portal to the next realm to stop. Animated Skye is ashamed because he would have gone in there head first. He wouldn't even like let her finish the sentence. He'd be like, okay, let's go. Takes his hand out or like just walks into the portal. But no, he just stands there and lets her do it by herself. What? Unless they're trying to reopen back up for Stella and Skye, which at that point I just need Brandon to come in and be like the best thing to have ever happened to this young woman. Piggybacking off of the whole portal thing, how dare they give Tekna's plotline to Bloom from the 3rd season? Tekna got her enchantix because she sacrificed herself to close the portal from the other side. And they gave it to Bloom. Bloom! I was so heated. I almost turned the TV off. I was like, why? Just give me Tekna. I don't know how y'all managed to make Musa fit. Y'all sat there and were like, oh yeah, Musa. Music. Can't work. We'll give her telepathy. We'll give her emotions. Can't find a way to make Tekna fit. Y'all made a second, like, dirt fairy. Y'all made a second fairy for flowers and dirt and herbs. But y'all couldn't find a way to make Tekna fit. And then you gave her plotline to Bloom. The disrespect on my girl's name. Speaking of the dark portal plotline, like, I know where it fits into the original, like, Winx Club timeline. I know where it fits exactly. But in terms of this newer Fate the Winx Saga, it felt like it was just kind of plopped in there for no reason. It was like, oh yeah, this darkness, the blood witches, these dark entities, they come from the dark realm. And this portal that we low-key still have no idea or no conceptual as to how it got there is now here to stay. And it's scary and you have to close it from the other side, but it's just like, it was just too subtle of a plot line and it just popped in there too much and I sat there for a minute and was like, could have been done differently. Could have been done differently, but no. Instead of like giving an extra scene to like maybe discussing this portal a bit more, we have a scene where Skye goes, you are the solution to my problems, Bloom. And it's somehow romantic. Like, are you straight people okay? Transformation scenes, bullshit again. It's just like them standing in the air with like their arms moving and just like going like this, like they're taking a shower. Feet are doing nothing. They're just standing there, like doing this. Staring at squiggly magic swirling around them. And they just grow wings. They just, like, there's no payoff to this transformation scene. Like, I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to appeal to the original, like, cast or, like, the original, like, fans of this, like, animated show where the transformations are big and huge and they can't, like, successfully, like, lean into it. But, like, there's no payoff to this. You're literally watching them for, like, ages in the air just, like, swirling around and touching, like, their shoulders and their arms and waving and doing some weird, like, hand motions. And only for, like, wings to pop out. And, like, it's not a transformation, it's just an addition. I would much rather have, like, a transformation scene where they just kind of, like, roll their shoulders back and, like, maybe some magic swirls up and we get more detail within the wings. Or, like, maybe even, like, pull a Ben 10. Pull, like, the Ben 10 series where, like, Gwen finds out she's a part alien and can strip off her human skin. And just make that, like, make them, like, physical entities of, like, what their nature is supposed to be. Like, that would be such a cool transformation that would fit in the idea of the world. But there's just no payoff with this one. It's just trying to, like, appeal to an audience that loved the show. But the transformations mean nothing to me. Like, I almost preferred Bloom's from the 1st season. And I love Bloom's, like, mini transformation in the 2nd one. Where she just, like, kind of, like, it's, like, automatic for her. She just like breathes in, breathes out, and then the wings like flush out. And it's just like it happened too quickly. Like they were told how to do it. They're like, you accept all emotions, good and bad, and you transform. And I was like, And none of these girls had any issues transforming for the first time under pressure or trying to turn abstract concepts into like a physical. What? There's no payoff with this like transformation sequence. There's no payoff with doing all the SFX for nothing. Like, it was just like, oh yeah, they have wings now, and that means they're now stronger. And I'm just like, okay. Like, you don't have to change outfits, but you can do something that fits within the world that like transforms them. Genuinely, I think the whole concept of like turning into like an elemental being with wings and fairy would probably fit and be a better fit for this world, but it's not gonna happen because they're too scared to do that. And I'm just like, okay, then what's the point of this transformation? Like, there's no point in you. Genuinely, like, none. You can go home. Things I'd like to see in the next season, honestly, I want to just see more of Tara. I want to see Tara become like her own person outside of her insecurities. I know it's like, once you place a character within those insecurities, you have to like work through them and mesh them out. Like, you can't, like, there won't, like, Caroline Forbes, like, we all hate her in the first like season and a half. Loved her after her vampiric turn. Like, I just need Tara to become more of herself and stop giving, like, give her better outfits. Like, you can dress a fat girl in like some pretty bomb-ass outfits and it'll be great, but somehow they just keep giving her these frumpy little looks, and I'm like, Flora is also in the same boat. Like, the studies like dirt and rocks and flowers and plants. The outfits look great. Why is Tara looking like she's about to go off on an expedition? Like, I don't know what's going on in these Sally's heads, but I just needed to stop. And like, I would just love for her to like just kind of be more herself and not be like, I am going to be this neurotic little thing because I am insecure in a new thing this season. Like, I need it gone. Like, I want Tara to just be like a person who is her own person and just have a different set of issues outside of her being queer and being fat. Like, I need something else. I desperately want better transformations. Like, either you get rid of the transformations and give me some kind of payoff with them, or you just like upgrade them, give them something else that'll fit the world, or just don't have them. Don't have them. There's a reason why Charmix, like, all the stages of like transformations, you have to do something to get. So it doesn't make sense that like you just get told an instruction manual and you can do it on command right off the bat. Like, it didn't make sense to me. Like, Charmix, like, you had to introduce a part of like yourself and like show it more to the world, and like that was like what helped, you know, like that's what got you, like, you becoming more yourself got you like that next level up in your powers. Enchantix was when you sacrificed yourself for fairies and loved ones and you became like what should have been the final transformation of that series, according to the headmistress. So it's just those little things where I'm like, they did nothing to get there and they got it. Like, Bloom made sense. Bloom's transformation sequence, like, not the sequence, but like the lead up to it made sense. Them getting a brief instruction manual and then knowing how to become that on the fly made no sense. I want to see more specialists. I want to see Brandon. I want to see Brandon and Helia and Naboo, Timmy even. I just need more specialists in there instead of just like the 2 or 3 that's there. Some of them are cool, some of them are a pain in my ass. Like, I just need more specialists and more intelligent specialists and not just there for muscle and like purely for military reasons. Like, the specialists have their own like specializations for a reason in the schools. It just, I need them. I also need Tecna. I just like, the series will never feel complete without Tecna. Like, how dare you make Musa adjust? Also, not include the fact that she was of Asian descent in the animated series, neither here nor there. Adjust so she fit, but then not find room for Tecna. Overall, I think it just, like, it has promise. It works really nicely. I think hopefully the 3rd season will be more grounded and a lot more, like, fleshed out, but it just keeps falling flat, and I can't, like, I get to the point where I have to, like, seriously just, like, expect the worst and hope for the best, or expect the worst and maybe I'll get something enjoyable out of it with the seasons. Like, the writers just need to do better, I feel, and they just need to plot things out better and like design. They just use their big brains. There's an entire room of writers, and for some reason they're just not hitting the mark on certain things, and it's just getting really tiring. So hopefully season 3 will be a little bit more rounded out, a little bit more fleshed out, and just like better writing overall. But that is it for this video. But if you guys enjoyed this video, I want me to do more like writing gone wrong instances, let me know, and let me know what you would like me to focus on. TV show, video game, movie, book series, however you may see. But let me know. Until next time, hope you guys are staying safe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!